Throughout the history of motion pictures, there have been many big dog stars. Toto had a big adventure. Petey had a big appetite. Rin Tin Tin was a big hero. And Lassie had a big heart.
You've come back!
But now, Ivan Reitman, who brought you Ghostbusters, Kindergarten Cop, and Twins, proudly presents the biggest dog star of them all. Beethoven.
No!
Wherever there's trouble, wherever there's danger,
Oh my gosh, Emily's in the pool! Help!
wherever there's food,
Mutt?
Oh, I just love these big dumb animals.
look who's coming to the rescue.
Whoa!
Dad!
Honey.
With a little help from his friends.
Sick of boys!
Really, hon, I never found you more attractive.
We're going in!
It's not even Saturday night. Oh, Alice, you drive me crazy.
George? Who are you talking to?
Charles Grodin. Beethoven.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister, the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
I'm not a police, but I'm a princess. Oh, that's the wrong Sarah Rose Carr movie. Never mind.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's fine. We are dorking out about 1992's Beethoven. Why? We are. Just accept it. It's just what's happening this week. Sorry, everybody. No, it's fine. It's directed by Brian Levitt, and it's written by Amy Holden Jones and Edmond Dantes, which is actually John Hughes, apparently. That's a pseudonym.
I'm not shocked.
Not shocked by that at all. This is starring a very big Saint Bernard, also Charles Grodin, Bonnie Hunt, Dean Jones. We got a couple of kids in here, Nicholle Tom, Christopher Castile, Sarah Rose Carr, and then Oliver Platt. I'm always happy to see Oliver Platt, Stanley Tucci, David Duchovny, the Tooch,
Yes.
David Duchovny, and Patricia Heaton in smaller bad guy roles. Let's start like we always do, my friend. Did you see this in the theater?
I don't think I did. I don't have a memory of it. I think I either rented it or was on TV.
Yeah, I have never seen this movie before. I did not see it in the theater because I'll admit this right off the bat. I tend to steer clear of movies that star animals because I get like I'm like overly attached to the animals. Like they make me sad, or I don't know. I had not seen Beethoven before this, but I did watch it with my 11-year-old son on this screening because I was like, he's the target audience for this movie.
Absolutely.
So I will say Calvin really enjoyed it. His mom, not so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I texted Margot and I believe I said, I actively hate this movie. Like, I don't like it at all. Or maybe I just tweeted that. But I do want to start with the good things. I'll point out some good things. How about that?
Okay.
I actually think the kids are really good in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're cute. I always love Bonnie Hunt. I think she's great. I think the dog is adorable. All the dogs are adorable.
Yes.
That's my list.
Wow.
What are your quick thoughts about Beethoven? What are your high level thoughts?
I honestly, okay, so the movie came out in 92.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Been a while.
It's like 30 years it's been out. So
Yes.
I remember it just being kind of a fun romp of a movie.
Yeah.
It was on TV a lot.
For sure. Yeah.
I do like animal movies. I'm not as attached, I guess, as you are. I don't know. I thought I liked Charles Grodin. I read his book, I think, around that time. So I was into the Grodin movie genre.
Yeah.
I had no idea she was that much younger than him at the time.
Oh my god, he's like 52 and she's 29.
Yeah. Which is not a crazy age gap. I mean, that does exist, but I don't have an age for Bonnie Hunt because she plays all kinds of ages, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She's mom or she's wife, but she's always funny. She had a talk show, I think, for a while.
She did. And I think she had a sitcom for a while too. Bonnie Hunt is a naturally funny person. Like,
yeah, she's hilarious. She's let's just talk about so I have friends that have a podcast and it's about animal adoption and they're going to be on another show.
Yes.
We had a hard time figuring that out. So we just committed. We'd both just seen Beethoven anyway. We'll talk about another. And if you have ideas, by the way, for us,
we'll take it.
Because we don't want to watch this again.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they're not here because I would hate to be like, I'm going to shit all over this movie that we have guests on our show. And I'm like, this movie's trash to me. Like,
it's not trash to me.
It's not trash to me.
But I do understand. There's a couple of, okay, let's just do the story.
Let's do it.
Okay. And there's also a world of pet shops that have puppies in the window. There's like things that existed that don't exist now.
Correct.
People used to go to pet stores to buy pets, not adopt them. It still costs you money. Oh, we should also say, I adopted a kitten from the Sean Casey Animal Rescue Group here in Brooklyn, and her name is Sadie, and she's adorable.
Adorable.
And
everybody drink.
Everybody drink. You can follow me on Instagram, Brooklyn Fit Chick. She's completely adorable. But I also do like cute puppies. I like puppy movies.
Yes.
I do like silly comedies and silly 90s comedies, even like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
I didn't notice the dark shit until later. And then I'm like, ooh, some of these messages here are really dated / awful. But let's just go through the plot. So there's this break-in at a pet store and this adorable, I mean, I do love this dog.
Yes.
Saint Bernard puppy.
Saint Bernards, again, everybody drink. Adorable. They are there's a lot of dogs in this movies and they are all super fucking cute. It's filled with cute dogs. So if you like cute dogs, there's lots of cute dogs and
you and I both live in neighborhoods with lots of cute dogs.
Yes. It's like it's like cute dog parade every time I go out. That's all it's everywhere I look.
Everywhere out my window, I could see it. So I'm attracted to that.
Yes.
So the puppy just shows up at the house, and it's cute little Sarah Rose Carr, who's from the Kindergarten Cop movie. I think I wanted to talk about that, and then we switch to this.
We should definitely do Kindergarten Cop soon. That's the second time that movie has been mentioned to me this week. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover that. So she's in this movie, and she has Nicholle Tom, who's her older sister, and I'm sorry, the actor's name played the middle brother, but
Christopher Castile.
Thank you. I'm about to cough in a second. Anyway, but this puppy shows up in her bed, Tara Rose's bed, and she's basically, "Daddy, I want a puppy, can't keep it." And he's Charles Grodin, like, "No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really want one."
Yeah, and he's doing his Charles Grodin thing. He's born to play these kinds of roles. If you don't get Charles Grodin, you get
Steve Martin.
You get
actually, you get Steve Martin first. Sorry,
you get Steve Martin, Charles Grodin, or Albert Brooks. They are all like very good at these kinds of kind of fussy. like neat, controlling,
curmudgeon-y.
yes, types. And like he's like, we're not dog people. That's what does he say?
We're people.
We're people. We're fish people. We're
goldfish and people. Like we're not and farm people.
Yes.
We're not dog people. Because he also there's tons of movies that came out around this time. I mean, after Turner and Hooch, there's lots of like dogs will chew your shit and leave slobber everywhere. And I do find that amusing. I am a 10-year-old, I think, deep down in my heart. So that's probably where that's going into my brain here.
I do love I made it sound like my list is like really, really short. There's 2 movies going on in this movie. There's one where they adopt a dog that gets huge. It's almost like a Clifford situation, right? They adopt this little...
Which also stars Charles Grodin.
So weird. That's a different movie. There's like, I'm like, we should talk about that movie sometime too, because that movie is weird. They, adopt this adorable, everybody drink, Saint Bernard puppy, and he gets really big, and hijinks ensue. And that stuff is like, it's very sweet. I like to meet movies where they're at. And I'm like, that's what this movie is. It's like, it wants to be like, it's a family comedy about like a dog that like, and the dog has a very sweet relationship with all the kids. And it's all of that stuff is great. It's the other part of the movie that there's this whole subplot with the burglars or the dog nappers. This is Oliver Platt and Stanley Tucci, who I love. And they are kidnapping dogs. There's a whole like warehouse filled with dogs and an evil vet that is like running like medical experiments on the dogs. And there's a whole thing about like they want to test a kind of bullet on a dog with a big skull. So then they were just going to kidnap this Saint Bernard. And this is the stuff that I was like, I hate that part of the movie. It's not fun to me.
And it's the part I never remember because I just check out because whenever they have that, the MacGuffin is like, or this is what, right. It's the dog napping, not great. And Dean Jones is a great Disney actor.
Oh, wait, he was in so many of he was in a lot of other animal movies, right? From the the live action movies of Disney in the 70s. So he was the 60s and 70s. So him playing a bad guy is a big deal, especially with animals involved. You should say no animals were harmed. No.
Apparently there was a lot of people in charge. I mean, this were made in the 70s, forget it. The animals are okay. So just so you know, if you're sensitive about that. But it's just animals in peril. There's that story. And then this is where, to this day, always gets me. The Charles Grodin story is that he runs a business that sells car fresheners, air fresheners. And there's a big nose in front of the building because smell it, you get it.
Yeah.
And he, from the beginning, right, Max?
That's Beethoven.
That's another Saint Bernard. You shitting all over my movie. We love that movie.
Max, how dare you?
So Charles Grodin, like you said, he's a fuzzy guy, but he also is just this ball of nerves. Like Bonnie Hunt is his adorable, everybody drink, beautiful wife.
She's so supportive. She's so lovely.
So lovely and funny and cool and calm, and he's like a total wreck. And apparently his business is in jeopardy, or this is another thing, like movies, people who write movies who've never had a job writing about businesses when they don't know what anybody's jobs are. But he's like apparently freaking out because and he even says at the kitchen table, if this doesn't work, I'm going to kill myself. And it's like, wait a second.
Like right in front of the kids.
Right in front of the kids. And she's like, hey, don't talk that way. We're like, what? But this is John Hughes once again. Like whatever he wrote, everyone, and he's problematic in many ways. But anyway, so the whole thing is that he wants to make this deal happen, and he really wants Bonnie Hunt to stop being home and to help him out at the business, which is giving them this beautiful lifestyle. Yes. But I get it if she doesn't want to. We're really rushing through, but I hate this subplot so fucking much.
Yes, that's the other part that because she says multiple things where she's like, I know my opinion doesn't matter, but, and I was like,
Right.
why does your opinion not matter? And I'm like, I love Charles Grodin. Like, we did a whole episode on Midnight Run. We love Charles Grodin here. His
Right.
character's a real dick in this movie. He's a dick.
He's a prick. He's somebody who really has no idea how good he has it.
Yes.
How great his fucking life is. I feel this way like I do about Below Deck when people complain and they're like, this is the worst trip. I'm like,
You're on a
really?
yacht.
You're on a yacht in Italy.
Yeah.
Like, really? You're complaining, but he's complaining. Like, it's,
Yes.
he's constantly complaining, but so the kids, I do love the kid stories, by the way.
Yes.
Each kid has a
That's
thing.
the best part. That's the
Yes.
best part of the movie.
Right. So Rice is the oldest girl who's adorable.
Yes.
And she's like, just like we could all relate to, very awkward that age.
Yeah,
where, you
she's like
know,
middle school, right?
Right. And she has a crush on a boy. And she's not sure if he knows that she even exists. We can relate to that.
Yes.
Her middle brother's a kind of tiny kid. He's a little nerdy. He gets picked on.
Yes.
One of them is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, apparently.
Yes.
That was one of his bullies.
Yes.
So he's got a bully situation when he gets off the bus from school. He's got to run home. Which my brother Joe, that happened to him a few times.
By the way, this happened to me. I used to run to catch the earlier bus to get away from my bullies.
Really?
Yes, I was bullied in middle school, like really bad, and
Oh.
teased a lot. And so there used to be two buses, and I used to like run from my last class to the bus to catch that like very first bus. And it was me, there was me and another kid named Jason, and we used to run together because we were both picked on, and we would ride the bus together.
Aw. So
Middle
he's-
school's the worst.
Honestly, between like I'd say 6th grade and maybe, honest to God, senior year, it's like I could just take those out of my brain, Men in Black style.
I
I'd
would
be fine.
with same.
I think, yeah. Anyway, but that's relatable. He's being picked on, and then the youngest is just such a cutie pie. I just
Yeah,
want to put her in my pocket.
Yeah, she is a little cutie pie, and like she's so sweet with the dog. And there is a whole thing about like Bonnie goes back to work for like a day, and
Ugh.
they get a babysitter who is pretty easily distracted. Yeah, toasted is a good way of putting it. And the youngest like falls in a pool, and that's like really scary. And the dog is so in tuned to the kids. He like knows where he needs to be and when to be there. It's very sweet. It's very sweet.
He
And-
rescues her.
Yeah, and he rescues her. He jumps in the pool and like she
Yes.
grabs on and he drags her out, and it's, you know, he's a good boy.
He's a very good boy. There's a fun scene at the beginning, which is like my dad's view of dogs. Like, let's just let them walk around and figure their way out.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what could possibly happen?
It is bananas to
Jesus.
me that this used to be a thing. I had, growing up, a wiener dog named Oscar. Oscar, I never put a leash on Oscar,
No.
and Oscar followed me wherever I went, like all over the neighborhood. I rode my bike. Oscar just ran alongside me. Like I would walk into the 7-Eleven to buy a Slurpee, and I would just bring my dog into the 7-Eleven. Like I would go to other people's homes and be like weirded out when they wouldn't let my dog in. I'd be like, he can't come in? I can't bring an Oscar? Like that's how my parents would know whose house I was at, because they could go by and see that Homer's my other dog. Oscar was sitting out front waiting for me. And that's how they knew, oh, Sonia's over at Leah's house, because Oscar's sitting out front.
Yeah, well, he has a situation where he has a gate in the backyard, like he has a pen, but he can get in and out of the house easily.
He just dug a huge,
He doesn't
fucking
give a
huge ass
shit.
hole. He just does whatever he wants.
He's adorable. He goes around the neighborhood and he gets food and he gets pets, like everybody. And I would love the shit out of this dog. Like
For sure.
I would totally be okay. I love Saint Bernard. I love all dogs.
Burmese
So he-
mountain dogs.
Oh.
Beautiful, beautiful dogs. Oh.
Beautiful. So they do have so the dog goes around, and then the oldest girl, he helps her meet the boy that she has a crush on, and it's very innocent and very sweet.
Yes.
And the little kitty helps him when he's being bullied, and he saves Sarah from drowning. which is like, it's a dark turn the movie makes. And then the
So
older
many
sister's
dark
like,
turns.
call my mother now. And then Bonnie Hunt's like, I need to be home with my children. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a second. So are we just to think like women have to work? She's in such a privileged place that she can, and lucky, good for her. She can like choose to work or not to. But the day she doesn't do it, her kid almost drowns.
Yes,
and
that's
the whole
to the extreme.
fault is that she's at a job.
I'm like, yeah, those things aren't actually connected, but it helps her make her case, which, because I hate that he is bullying her back into work when she is not ready.
She says, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, she says it like, I don't want to. I want to be here. I want to be home with our kids. I don't want to pay someone else to raise our kids. I want to raise our kids. That's legit. That's a legit feeling. And he's so dismissive of her throughout the movie that it just bums me out. It's
not great. It's not a great look. And I like the fact that the babysitter's drunk and playing Lady Marmalade. I think that's kind of funny on the piano.
Yes.
There's certain things I like. I mean, it all happened because my mother was at work. Like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Like,
not related. Those things are not connected, but okay.
Completely not related, but okay. She's got to be home because people are going to hurt Sarah Carr. We can't, nothing can happen to her. Got it. Then there's this whole weird act with the movie. Well, David Duchovny and Patricia Heaton play these asshole yuppies that don't have kids.
They're really
they are so good looking, by the way. They're at their hottest.
They are at their hottest. Like they are very good at playing those kind of like, they are just miserable pricks. Like both of them are like snobby, yuppie, like, ew, kids, gross, like that sort of thing. Like, do you even have any good restaurants in this town? Like, that sort of thing. They're very good at that. But there is a whole subplot about like, he needs to land the big deal, and it's like, again, it feels so 80s, but this movie's 92.
Yeah, that's an idea that they stuck with for a long time. Then people got the internet. They've talked about how things really work at their jobs. And they're like, oh, we have office space. But he's trying to land the big deal. I do like it when because they're being so snotty and dismissive of his family.
Yes,
family.
To his face. And he's like,
support them.
Yeah.
Doesn't even support his family.
No.
To his face, they're being snotty and dismissive. So I love it when Beethoven like swirls around their chair and then they get dragged around the neighborhood. I bet you Calvin.
Okay, I was going to tell you that was Calvin's favorite part of the movie. He laughed out loud. He thought it was so funny that he like that he drags them at some point, like they kind of like prop back up and then they like fall back down again and he fully drags them. Calvin loved that part. And again, like, let's talk about meeting movies where they're at. Like, Calvin is 11. He's like at the right age for this kind of movie. Calvin thought the like dog napper stuff like was like appropriately scary for him. Like, he was interested in that part. And the acting in the movie in a lot of the characters is also very like, especially the Oliver Platt, Stanley Tucci stuff. It's super cartoony, like very
considering what Tucci does later.
Yes,
the kind of work he does, like the independent films that he does, and the really dark stuff. Like, he's just like, boy.
Yes, he's like wearing like cowboy boots for some reason, and like Oliver Platt's just like, duh, like, it's like
they're putting their butts against a gate with the dogs, like, try to chew my butt.
Yeah,
it's
very,
sweet.
very dumb. And again, an 11-year-old boy, he liked all of that stuff. Calvin liked this movie. He thought it was good. And this was the first time where Calvin and I were watching a movie where he was like, you don't like it. Like, he could physically tell I didn't like the movie. Like,
well, it goes into the whole thing of, now we're going into dog napping, and then we're talking to animal experimentation, which is dark and mean and scary and awful.
Yes.
But Charles Grodin helped save the day in their station wagon that the kid drive. I mean, the stupid shit at the end, I kind of like it. Like,
yeah.
Dean, I mean, this movie, I mean, unlike Mannequin, which I loved, even though it was over the top, this is over the top, but it's got kind of a weird, mean kind of scent to it.
Yeah, I don't like the meanness. I don't like the animal napping subplot. There is a whole thing where the vet shows up at their house and pretends that the dog bit him, and the daughter is like, that's not what happened. I saw what happened. Charles Grodin totally dismisses her. He doesn't listen to her. And I was like, and Bonnie Hunt does have a good line about why don't we believe our daughter and not this man that we've met twice.
Right.
And I was like, good call out. You should believe your kids when they tell you things, by the way, because...
Or your spouse when she says she doesn't want to work.
Yes.
She doesn't want to go back to your stupid office. Yeah. He doesn't listen to anybody, but he learns his lesson.
Yeah.
He does learn.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say the whole thing about like now the dog has to be put down and he's like taking the dog to the vet, like all that stuff.
I hate that shit.
That shit is very upsetting. I don't like it. Like it takes the fun out of the movie. It's too real for this kind of a movie.
Yeah. Whereas Mannequin, you're just worried that other people are going to see the mannequin. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. There's no life or death thing. No one's going to be hurt.
The stakes are like appropriate in Mannequin. I feel like the stakes in this movie are way too dark and high for the same movie that has David Duchovny and Patricia Heaton twirling around on chairs and being dragged down the street. And then we have a whole thing about, I'm going to put a bullet in this St. Bernard's head. I'm like, fuck this movie.
I know. But then, so they break into I don't even give a shit, but they break into the place, and Dean Jones does get a shot in the heart, but it's like 10 vials of whatever's in those things, which would kill him. Would it not?
I don't understand.
But in a Disney movie, which is what they're essentially making, he just kind of goes cross-eyed and then falls to the ground. So we're meant to be like, oh, he's still going to a little Betty Bye, sleepy sleep.
Night.
Night. So they all get arrested, and I like it when they do rescue all the dogs.
Yes.
They're like, you're free, and they get on TV, and then the guy that Rice is crushing on calls her.
Yes,
there's also a 92 thing, like you have one phone and Dad has to fucking answer it. God forbid.
Yes.
But anyway. And then I do like at the end, he's like, good night, Beethoven. Good night, Rusty. Good night, and all the little doggies. That's really sweet.
That is super sweet. And I do want to say like how cute it is that Beethoven has like his dog friend that he makes at the beginning of the movie. And he keeps sneaking out and he's like delivering food to the other dog that like saved him, basically. It's very cute. Like all of that stuff is so cute. It's this other like dark part that I'm like, I hate it so much. I hate the dark part so much that it ruins the other stuff for me. But like I said, Calvin really enjoyed it, and he thought it was appropriately scary. Like he was worried for the dogs. I know that all the dogs are going to be okay, but like, he was like, I hope they're all going to be okay. And then, he's like, they're all friends. They saved all the dogs. Like, he loved it. Yeah. So it's great for an 11-year-old. It's just, it's not for me. That's okay.
It made a shitload of money.
Oh my God, it made so much. I wrote it down because the budget on this movie was like $18 million. It made almost $150 million, which is a shit ton of money for the time. I mean, that's the budget of a Marvel movie now, but like back then, that was a lot of money.
That's the marketing for a Marvel movie now. That's not even
right.
But yeah, it made a shitload of money. So they made all these sequels. There's like 4 of them or something.
Yeah.
And they all went to direct to DVD, but it didn't matter because they all just made a shitload of money. I mean, it's just a simple story.
Yes.
I just like, unlike Mannequin, which I thought it just was so frothy, I just forgot how like just light it is. Like the dark here is really dark.
Yes.
And I did not appreciate it. I just did not. So
yeah,
I still like the cute dog parts.
Yes.
But overall, eey.
Yeah, exactly. And this movie reminds me of some of the 80s comedies and early 90s comedies that, and maybe we talked about this in one of our other episodes, the movies that have this like random dark subplot. So like 3 Men and a Baby has a whole thing about drug deals in that movie that like we all remember like them singing to the baby and it's so cute and haha, these bachelors don't know how to like take care of a baby. There's a whole subplot about like a drug deal that's like, and the baby's like kidnapped or like, what the fuck? Like you have this like great like fun comedy and there's like they're always adding like something about a big deal or a drug deal gone wrong. It doesn't need that stuff. Like these unnecessary dark stakes, I guess. And this is one of those movies. I was like, where'd she go?
Oh, I'm so sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying, talking about movies with the dark subplot.
Oh, because you couldn't hear me because you're like, we should talk about 3 Men and a Baby.
Yes.
One day. But the problem is that, in case you heard this before, I'm going to say it again. But
yes.
The problem is that when the person writes the script, somebody at the studio always wants to put their thumbprint on things.
Yes.
And they'll say, okay, but we got a cute baby and 3 cute guys and they're in Manhattan. But what do they do? So then somebody has gone, well, pretty sure heroin's a big problem. Maybe we have a heroin. You know what I mean? So then Ted Danson has a baby Bjorn and a baby crawling a building to deliver drug money. I mean, but I never questioned it because I like everything else. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you let it slide at the time.
That shit slide. Yeah, but so here I'm sure they're like, okay, we got the dog, we got Charles Grodin, we have dog napping. Why are they taking the dogs?
I want to make a statement about animal testing.
What if we pretend to torture some animals, but we don't really? Brilliant! Write that in. We'll get Dean Jones.
It's just so.
I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
You're probably right. It's just so icky, and like the John Hughes of it, like he goes by a pseudonym in this. Like he clearly didn't want his thumbprint on it. You know,
he wrote a little. Let me be honest. I'm going to be dead honest here. He wrote a little too much. He could have really probably taken more vacations or something.
Yes.
And he maybe wouldn't have had a heart attack so young. Maybe he was a little too driven because he was probably too successful for his own good, I think. Because there's problems here that are very Hughesian problems. Which is like people of privilege, you know, being very obtuse about their place in the world and what's a problem and what isn't a problem, and just completely forgetting about their wives and children at weird moments.
Well, and we did a whole episode about She's Having a Baby, which is also John Hughes, and it's like that's another one where it kind of didn't know what it wanted to be and then like ramped and it seems like it's going to be this like kind of wacky comedy about like a guy who's maybe not ready to be a dad being a dad, and then they like ratchet it up to the point where like Elizabeth McGovern's character is almost going to die in childbirth, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's where this movie's going? Like it doesn't need to go that far.
But again, they're successful movies.
Yes, this movie made a ton of money, and I did some looking around and saw that like pretty much everyone and their brother was approached at some point to star in this movie, and I think it's hilarious because one of them is Albert Brooks, and I was like, of course you would approach Albert Brooks. And then of course Steve Martin was approached, and I was like, of course he was. And then it's like everybody, it's like John Candy, Danny DeVito, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Jeff Goldblum. I was like, Jeff Goldblum would have been wrong for this. Rick Moranis, all of that makes sense to me.
I could picture Jeff Goldblum walking around the pen to animals, goes, life moves on. Life moves forward. And then you didn't stop to think, Dean Jones, if you should. Thank you.
Very good. And then for the Bonnie Hunt part, this amuses me to no end because there's no way any of these actresses were going to sign on for Beethoven to play the wife in a movie about a dog.
Unless you get points.
Yes.
Unless they were going to get profits.
Yes.
There's Bonnie Hunt is, I swear to God, the hero of this movie.
She is. She's the MVP.
Lifts it. Yes, she's the MVP. She lifts just with her face, like she sprays him with the water.
Yes.
And then she's like, you should just kind of dry yourself off there. Just kind of laughs at him. She's great.
She's great. But like the other women they approached, it was like Jane Fonda, Glenn Close, Sally Field, Meryl fucking Streep. Meryl Streep is not going to do Beethoven.
I'm sure that's the producers just having fun.
Yeah. At one point, apparently Goldie Hawn was offered the role. Like, and I was like, it seems like there's not enough for any of those actresses to do. And like Bonnie Hunt was not like a big star at the time. And she does a lot with a pretty thankless role.
She has those Chicago comedy roots or something.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is. And she's beautiful and she's very great. She's so believable as their mother and believable.
Yes.
Even being his wife, even though he's a jackass of
yes.
a dude. But I think he comes around at the end. I mean, he has to.
He does. Absolutely. I did make a list of other animal movies.
Oh, please.
I'll be curious if you've seen these or have thoughts. So, Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, that ending, that movie will mess you up.
It will.
If you're not,
yeah.
If you don't know what's going on and you think it's just a romp, there's a lot.
That's another one.
Oof.
K-9. Also.
Yeah, Jim Belushi.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll be honest. I've only seen a few of these because, again, the animal factor. Old Yeller.
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
Fuck it. I've heard the jokes. I don't need.
Yeah. I think this one's on our list. Homeward Bound.
I love Homeward Bound.
It's
not dogs though. It's the geese.
No.
That's another one.
Yes, Homeward Bound is like I think 2 dogs and a cat.
Yeah, you're right. The one I'm thinking of is with Anna Paquin.
That's on the list. It's called Fly Away Home.
I love that movie.
That movie is very good. That played at my movie theater, and I'm like, it's really good. I did not see this movie. Marley and Me.
No, I won't see it.
No, I will never see that. Babe.
The pig?
Yes. I actually really like Babe. I
love Babe.
Babe is really good.
What's the last line? I keep forgetting. It's a good pig or
he's like that'll do pig. I should show Calvin Babe.
He might love that.
Oh my god, I think Calvin would love Babe. I'm gonna do that. Okay, Free Willy.
I've seen it. It's whatever.
That's an Adam Risky fave, by the way. Everyone he loves the Free Willy movies. He loves them. 2 more movies. Larger Than Life.
That's the elephant.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm so surprised you even remembered it.
Yep.
And then the last one, I think we all know this comical romp, Cujo.
Cujo will also mess you up.
Cujo will legit mess you up. I did see Cujo. Cujo made me so sad. It's a good movie, by the way, but it's also really sad because I was like, the dog wants to be a good boy. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Is that a Saint Bernard too?
Yes.
Oh Jesus. Okay. All right. So you're ready to hear the top 10 songs from April 4th, 1992, the weekend this came out.
I can't wait.
All right. This is the Pop Hits American charts. Number 10, Beauty and the Beast, Celine Dion, Peebo Bryson.
Yeah.
Tale
as old as time.
Indeed. That's a great movie, by the way.
It is.
That holds up. Genesis, I Can't Dance. That was a pop hit.
I can't dance.
And I love Phil Collins, but that's not
not it.
Number 8, Mariah Carey, Make It Happen.
I love me some old Mariah Carey songs.
Same. I don't know the song. Mint Condition, Breaking My Heart.
Oh,
Pretty
I bet.
Brown Eyes.
I think if
Adam were here.
Yeah, he would know this one.
We know this song. Number 6, Right Said Fred. I'm Too Sexy.
That movie was
still can't get away from that.
That song was everywhere, and it was in like every movie trailer. Every movie trailer was like, "I'm too sexy for my life." Like every movie trailer.
Number 4. I can't remember. 4. Mr. Big, To Be With You. One of those.
Yes. One of those pop ballads. Yes.
Number 4, Masterpiece by Atlantic Starr. Sorry, guys. Atlantic Starr, Masterpiece. Don't remember that.
I don't remember that one.
Boy, songs you can't get away from. Here we go. Number 3, Michael Jackson, Remember the Time.
You and me on the phone. What about us, girl?
I did like that video. Is that the one with Iman?
Yes, and Eddie Murphy, and yes. Yeah, Michael Jackson made great videos. He did. He did.
He did. Number 2, this fucking song. Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven.
Fuck that song.
Boy. And it's just, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 song, Vanessa Williams, Save the Best for Last.
I love Vanessa Williams. Love.
It's not good as Dreamin'. Dreamin' is like her best song.
I love Dreamin' is, in my opinion, also the best song. But this song was huge.
She was huge.
Yes.
Huge.
I love her. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
Well, I was going to talk to you about this. We might have to put this on What a Creep one day, but Beef on Netflix.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, go ahead, please.
I really loved it. I love all the people except for one involved. I love me some Ali Wong. I loved the point of view. I thought it was weird and interesting and sexy.
Yeah.
And exciting. And I'm not sure why David Cho was hired.
Yeah.
When so I didn't even know who this guy was. I'm this much out. I'm not exactly one up with the art world. I'm not exactly the most sophisticated person you'll ever meet. I put Rock Band posters on my wall and I call it a day since I was like 16.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's an artist and he had a podcast. He made a lot of money as an artist, and he's a very talented artist, by the way. I was looking at his work. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But he was on a podcast and was like SVDANA, and it was like small dicks, big anal, and something else. Like it's just somebody trying to be salacious, just somebody trying to be gross. And he's joking about basically raping a masseuse.
Ew.
It's really fucking hard to listen to. It's really gross. And I get humor is subjective, and I actually kind of on the more gross side of things, but it was really, really bad. And it's like him and David Lee is another comedian who made a joke about rape, and then they're like, it was just a joke. It wasn't a real story. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And it was haha. And it's I don't know. He's basically, I didn't know who this guy was. He's worth like $350 million.
Wow.
He took this video, and BuzzFeed and other places were retweeting it and putting on social media, and he's sending out copyright violations because he has a nonprofit charity, and he says this video is a part of that nonprofit. The copyright laws in this country need a lot of work, by the way.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they are really messed up, because that is so messed up, and it really made me sick. And it's I think it's a shame, because I love everybody else involved, but I'm also like, they knew who he was when they hired him.
Yeah.
They knew about his past.
They just thought people would forget, or I don't know. It ruins it. It takes you out of it.
It really does.
Yeah, where you're just like, I don't want to look at him.
He wasn't an actor. They just hired him. And you can find another Asian actor to do the part, to be funny and sexy and tough. You don't have to pick this guy. They used his artwork as well, but I guarantee you could find another artist that's exciting that you could, but it maybe would take more work. I don't know. I don't know. It just, it really kind of sickened me. And,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it here to talk about how great it was. And I'm saying this is hard because it's one of those cases where I think the work is great and I think he's a total shithead creep and I don't want to give him my money or my time.
Yes. Correct. But I think I mentioned this one in the last episode too, because I didn't know who he was when I watched Beef last week or the week before, I forget. Anyway, and I was really, enjoy is not the right word, like interested, I guess, is I liked what they were doing. I thought they were telling an interesting story. I really like Ali Wong and Stephen Young together. Like, yes. I think that they are both like super interesting, pick interesting shit. I like that they do that. I think, but now knowing what I know about him, it ruins it for me. I'm like,
yeah. So anyway, and then Below Deck is back with Below Deck Sailing. And I love it. My favorite is Below Deck Sailing. They have such a hot crew, and it was great. It's a way to start off because the boat, the engine just wasn't working. And so the first group of people are these like 8 women. And they're like, hey, welcome to Sardinia. Welcome to Italy. Here's your sailboat. Oh, yeah, we're not going to leave the dock. We're just going to be here. And the first day, the women just get trashed and they don't care. They're just so drunk, they don't even care. And the crew is really super hot, so they don't care. And then by the next day, they're all hungover and cranky. And then they're just bitching. And they leave pigsty mess in the rooms, and there's actually blood on the floors, and it's really over the top. And then one woman whose name is really Karen really complains on the air that this was the worst trip in her life.
Okay, Karen.
Exactly. She pulls a Karen, and like the other friends say, you go tell him, you tell him, you tell him. So she goes to the captain, starts crying, and then behind her back, the other ones tip it, put in more money for the tip because they realize she's not going to tip. So they make her look like a double asshole. It's fantastic.
Amazing.
It's made up for a lot of other crap that we've got going on. And it's all like my brain can handle because it's like living with a toddler when you have a kitten.
Yes.
They just wake you up constantly.
Yeah. Puppies and kittens there's an adjustment there. They wake you up. You have another cat, so you have like 2 toddlers in your house basically. It makes sense to me that this is all I can handle.
It's all my brain can retain. That's it.
That is how I feel about why I watch Love is Blind. So I want to talk to you about the Love is Blind non-live reunion. Did you see all the action about it?
I saw all the action on Twitter, and people are furious at Netflix.
So Netflix, first of all, they don't need to get into the live TV game.
You don't get Netflix for live.
No. And apparently they did this with the Chris, I almost called him Kid Rock. Chris Rock comedy special. My name is Chris.
Does he use an AR-15? Did you, by the way, see the clip of the guy that like tipped over all the beer in an aisle, and he tipped over the wrong beer?
Fucking asshole. Oh my God, these jerks that are like
bigots.
They're bigots who like are so upset that like trans people exist that they're like freaking out about Bud Light. Oh my, it's so stupid.
Bud Light smash.
Anyway. So they did his comedy special live, and then they decided, because they were getting so much like play for their Love is Blind this season, that they were like, we're gonna do the reunion live. And the shit did not work. Over an hour later, you're still getting the show will start soon. It was over an hour late. People were like, fuck off. They like ditched to go watch Succession. And so
or Below Deck.
Or Below Deck. And they ended up not even doing it live. They ended up just recording it and then dropping the episode, which is what they should have fucking done in the first place. Like, we don't go to Netflix for live stuff. It doesn't have to be live. If they just filmed it like that morning and dropped it at 5:00, everyone would have watched it at 5:00. Like, it didn't have to be live, and they fucked it up. So, like, it didn't happen on time. Like, an hour and 15 minutes later, like, you could finally watch something. I was on Twitter also complaining like everyone else because, like, a lot of people, my sister came over, we ordered delivery, we had drinks, and we were going to watch the reunion live together. And I was like, well,
it wasn't
now
delivery, it was Giorno's.
Yeah, and I was like, that's right. And I was like, I ate all my food, you assholes. Like, I was like, God, I ate all my snacks. Ugh! Like, you ruined everything. Ugh! But then the reunion, we get the episode, and it's hosted by Nick Lachey and his wife Vanessa Lachey. They host it together, and let me just tell you, they ain't it. They are not good hosts. They suck at this. Like,
was it live when they finally were there? Or?
No, they ended up just recording it and then dropping the episode, basically, like releasing it. So it wasn't even live at that point. But like, they're not good at this. Like, first of all, I'm not even convinced they actually watched the show. Because, like, there was a lot of there was some fucked up shit in this season. There was allegedly cheating. There was some, like, serious mean girl action going on. And Vanessa Lachey just continued to pick, like, the wrong side of the fights. And, like, be shitty to the people who didn't deserve it and be super kind to the people who didn't deserve that kindness. And I'm like, I don't think you watch the show. I don't.
That's it. Like Andy Cohen. He does that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I actually think Andy Cohen would have probably done a better job than the Lachey. Nick Lachey just sits there like, duh. Like, he barely participates. Like, he totally disassociates from all of it. He's embarrassed. And she just, I think she thinks she's being like fun and outrageous and catty and all and she's not. Instead, she's coming across as like really aggressive and mean. And at the end, she's like, so now who's having a baby? I want that Love is Blind baby. Where's the Love is Blind baby? When is someone going to have a baby? And I'm like, why do you need its blood? Is that why you're being so fucking desperate right now? And also, we don't ask people about that shit. Like, you don't ask. First of all, maybe they don't want to have babies. Did you ever think of that? We don't do that anymore. We don't force like, where's my baby? Like,
that's like, once again, from she's having a baby. Like,
yes.
The grandparents bitching about it.
Yes, like, we don't ask people that. Like, who here's struggling with infertility? Tell me everything. Like, what the fuck, Vanessa Lachey? She sucks at this. She's
I'm barren, huh?
Yeah, like
I'm thinking of Racing Arizona.
Like, it's just, it put all of them in this really awkward position. It's like, who here wants to admit on TV that they're fucking all the time because they're trying to have a baby, or who's struggling, or like, it's not your business. Even though it's a reality show, that shit is not your business. And the presumption that all newly married people immediately want to have babies is old school way of thinking, and it's bullshit. And I don't like it. And she just did not do it for me. I was like, I don't.
No.
They need to bring in someone else.
I remember she was an MTV VJ.
Yes.
And when I was at YM Magazine, she was one of those people we interviewed, and I did not hear good things about her.
Yeah.
She was an asshole.
Yeah, she is not good at this. There is a whole thing where, like, one of the, like, couples didn't even make it to the altar. Like, she, dumped one of the guys, and, like, on the show they make it look like she cheated on him, that she hooks up with someone else from the pods in the real world. And that's not quite what happened with the timeline, but, like, she did not handle things very well on the show, and she was very she's just she seems like a very kind of, like, fucked up person, to be honest, this woman Jackie. Like, she seems like she's got a lot of self-work she needs to do, and
I think that's why they go on these shows.
Yeah, and she didn't even come to the reunion, So they did like a pre-taped thing with her and like the guy that she ended up choosing or whatever. And they got the most softball, like easy fucking interview from Vanessa Lachey. And then they cut back to the quote unquote live show. And then she proceeds to just fucking grill the man who did go to the reunion. And I'm like, it was just shitty. It was like not a good look for her. Like what it looked like was she was like picking on the dude who got dumped, and he got dumped for no reason. Like he seems, first of all, that the guy, his name is Marshall. He seems very like emotionally mature and like is clearly done therapy. And I was like, that's fucking hot. Like this dude's not going to have any problem getting dates. Like, the women are probably all up in his DMs because he seems like a decent person, and Vanessa was so shitty to him, and I was like, bitch, please. Like I was just not having it.
No, I
Yes.
can hear it in your voice.
Yes, and
you've got some passion.
Yes, I
going on
do.
here.
I don't know why, but I just something about Love Is Blind fucking works for me. But like
Y'all everything.
There was also like kind of, I think, the real love story of Love Is Blind this season was that gentleman Marshall and this other man named Brett. And Brett and Marshall formed these are two like black men who formed a real friendship like while all this dating stuff was going on. They are like very vulnerable and honest with each other in a way that we don't see men behave in fiction or in real life. And especially on a reality show, especially black men on reality shows where we tend to get like angry black man edit or angry black woman edit. Like they are very vulnerable and honest and like real about their emotions and how they like navigate situations. And I was so impressed with their friendship. And I was like, that's the real love story of Love Is Blind, is Brett and Marshall. Like they seem like really good dudes. And this is coming from me when I think most men are trash. So the truth is really all I've been watching is Love Is Blind. And so that's really all I have. Did you have anything else on your list? I totally jumped in and was like,
No. You know, if I did, I can't remember it because it's been 3 days. My cat, I was telling my friend Kim, Kim,
Yes.
This morning I met her for coffee and I said the first night the kitten was staying with me, I've forgotten just what kittens do.
Yes.
But I was sleeping with a hoodie and my kitten was trying to pull the hoodie off my head. Like when she was just like I was like in Raising Arizona once again, like the baby that tries to pull its head down. And I'm so delirious.
Yeah, they're little. They get into everything. They don't, they fall like everything. They fall into their routine and they know your cues and they know the schedule. And, like my dogs know that like, at 5:00 they start spinning around and freaking out because they know like it's the end of my work day and like they're going to get attention and they're like, it's happening. It's 5:00. Like they know what's up, but it takes a little while to get there. So
yeah. So we're still working that out.
yeah. And it helps that they're so cute.
Oh, just adorable. That little meow. Meow.
So cute. It's so cute. Oh my God. My voice is going to get so high. It's going to get so cute.
And let's just say the message of the movie is adopt, don't shop.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Please, animals deserve to be treated with respect.
Yes, they do.
And Beethoven's a very cute dog.
He's such a good boy.
He's a good boy.
He's such a good boy. My by the way, Max was like, me? I'm a good boy? Max, you're a good boy too. You're a good boy too. Where can people find you on the internet, Margot?
You can find me on Twitter at Brooklyn Margot, Instagram Brooklyn Fit Chick. Lots of pictures of the cat there.
Oh.
And on my site is brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm on TikTok at Margot Donahue.
And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok. If you would like to email us at dorkinoutshow@gmail.com, we'll send you some stickers if you send your address, or we take requests. So if you have a movie you would like us to dork out about, we're happy to do that.
And our friends are going to be the animal.
They are. They're going to
the
come
animal
back.
rescue people. So if you have ideas for good animal movies,
Yes, please. A good one. Maybe we should do Babe. Babe's a good one.
I think maybe it's Babe.
I'm like, that would be a good one to do.
It'll make me cry. That one made me cry.
It's so good. That one's
It's
a really
so
good
good,
one.
though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you like the sound of our voices, we also co-host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present. That one is super fun. What's our episode? Oh, Jack Nicholson. Oh my God, the Jack Nicholson one is out there. So
It's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
And somebody Sonia was the lead on that one, and then the other one always comes up with this. It was me, but the other one comes up with a non-creep, so it's not just us bitching about the world. But one of our listeners tagged us on TikTok because there's a woman out there who's like, "Hey, Jack Nicholson." They're like, "Have you heard of What a Creep podcast?" And thank you for doing that. We really appreciate it.
We
for
appreciate
helping spread
that.
the word.
Yes, we just want the world to be a little less creepy.
Yeah, that's all.
And on this one, we just want to dork out about movies. So thanks Thanks for joining us. And I don't know how to end this one. Who's a good boy? Max is. Max is a good boy.